What's going on, everybody? It's your man EK here, back with another video. Real quick, before I go ahead and get into anything, please go ahead and follow me on YouTube or subscribe on YouTube, and also follow me on Twitter at Coalition Hoops, and follow me on IG at Coalition.Hoops. You can also follow me on TikTok at Coalition Hoops as well. So, real quick, I wanted to come on here and give my quick thoughts on the two games I saw last night. Obviously, we are in the second round of the playoffs. The second round has been established, and we got it kicked off last night with the New York Knicks playing the playing the Philadelphia 76ers, and the Minnesota Timberwolves playing the San Antonio Spurs. Quick thoughts on the Knicks versus the Sixers. I thought the Sixers coming off of that crazy 3-1 comeback, game 7 road win in Boston. I knew they weren't going to have a lot of legs. Typically, when that happens, the road team, they're not going to have a lot of legs. They're going to be tired, this, that, and the third. And that's exactly what happened. Because New York got their series done early, they ended up ending the Hawks in 6 games, and they had a couple of days off. Not enough time off to be rusty, but enough time off to, recover and get your body right. And we saw that last night. I mean, Jalen Brunson was absolutely incredible. You know what I mean? I thought Karl Anthony Towns probably played the most impactful basketball I've seen him play in the postseason. He didn't have a crazy stat line. He had 17, 6 and 6 with 2 blocks. But I just think his activity offensively and defensively, especially on Joel Embiid when he was matched up with him, was awesome. Obviously, Jalen Brunson had 35 points, 12 to 18, shooting from the field, 2 steals, 8 from the free throw line, 3 to 6 from the 3-point range. He was awesome. They tried so many different coverages on him. They started Kelly Oubre on him and he couldn't guard him. They tried to put PG on him a couple of times. That didn't work out. They tried to put Quentin Grimes on him. That didn't work out. Tyrese Maxey, that didn't work out. He was just having one of those games. And the thing about Jalen Brunson is that he's such a stocky guard, and he's so skilled with the athletic gifts he does have that he's very hard to guard. And also, when you have dudes that are very, very skilled and can get low to the ground, they have a low center of gravity, and they're also very strong. It's just tough for them. It's just tough to stop them when they get going. So once he kind of got going in the first quarter, and they ended up taking a bit of a lead, and they kept on extending the lead, I was like, I don't think Philly is going to have really any answer for what Jalen Brunson is able to provide. And obviously, OG Anunoby came through with 18 points. Mikal Bridges came through with 17 points. So overall, the Knicks played extremely well and extremely balanced basketball overall. You know what I mean? And that's what you need at this time of year. You know what I'm saying? I think the Knicks are peaking at the right time. You know what I mean? So, and to be completely honest, even though it is only game 1, I think the Knicks can take away a lot from what they were able to do last night. They can potentially, bring that into game 2. Because I think if they're able to get game 2, it's going to make it a lot harder for Philadelphia to try to climb back out of an 0-2 hole, having lost, the first 2 and having to go back home and putting the pressure on them to win on their home floor. So we'll see how that shapes out. But the game I really want to talk about is obviously the Timberwolves versus the Spurs that happened last night. And obviously the score was 104-102. Very much a defensive game, I would say. You didn't really have a lot of crazy high-power scoring in this game. I thought Victor Wembanyama, even though the Spurs ended up losing, I thought he was incredibly impactful defensively, right? Like setting the playoff record in blocks with 12 blocks. Also had 15 rebounds for only 11 points, shot 5 of 17 from the field. I think both teams were incredibly active defensively for the majority of the game. In addition, I feel like the only positive, or the biggest positive for the Spurs, was the fact that Dylan Harper, who a lot of people think should be starting in front of De'Aaron Fox, had 18 points with 7 and 13 shooting. He had 4 rebounds, 4 assists, no turnovers. He's the type of guy that I think could put a wrinkle in anyone's opposing defense, because he's strong for his size and he's extremely skilled, and he knows when to sort of navigate scoring for himself as opposed to sort of creating for others. And I think when you have a young player who has the ability and the athleticism merged on with the know-how that a veteran really should be able to sort of execute and employ, that causes, a dangerous combination for any opposing defense. And if De'Aaron Fox, like in game two, if he shoots bad again, like I said, he was really, really bad last night. He was 5 for 14. He only had 10 points. That's not something when you bring De'Aaron Fox in, a veteran guy who's known to be able to score the basketball at a very, very high clip, you're going to bring him on your team, trying to make a deep playoff run for him to score 10 points on 5 for 14. Like, you need him to be De'Aaron Fox. Like, you need him to be the guy who can score from all three levels, and if he's not able to do that, in game two, I wouldn't be surprised, if the Spurs coaching staff makes the change and they say, hey, listen, we're going to insert Dylan Harper in the start lineup, given the fact that Dylan Harper has a good game too, right? Yeah, so I think all in all, that's like the one major thing I took away from the Spurs side of things. Obviously, for the Timberwolves, Anthony Edwards, man, is just a warrior. You know what I'm saying? Like, getting up the gumption to play after everything he's been through, 10 days, I believe, after his hyperextension or whatever happened to his knee, for him to come out and play. Obviously, he didn't necessarily play super, super well, but I thought he played solid enough. He didn't kill him. You know what I mean? He was very much a part of the reason why they ended up winning the game, even though down the stretch of the game, he had 2 bad turnovers, missed some shots. But ultimately, that didn't cost him because you have guys like Julius Randle, who's just over reliable with a 21 and 10, double-double. Jaden McDaniels, who has seemingly been the most consistent player for this Timberwolves team on both ends of the floor. Surprisingly, he had 16 points and 7 to 14 shooting with 5 rebounds, a block and a steal. And then you have Terrence Shannon Jr., who, in my opinion, has been one of the most impressive young players in these playoffs, continuously attacking the basket. He only shot 5 for 13 last night, but his continuous attack of the basket lends itself to allow the Timberwolves to be much more versatile offensively. And then it also allows them the ability to provide ample spacing for, their shooters when they are shooting the basketball well. And when you have a guy who puts constant pressure on the rim like that, you may be able to, contest and block a lot of those shots, like via Wemby and things of that nature. But over the course of the game, that's going to wear on the defense. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to start to lose some discipline. And when that happens, don't be surprised if Terrence Shannon ends up becoming sort of the foundation or the fulcrum or the point of sort of like the beginning of plays where, the Timberwolves are able to find quality shots on the perimeter because of his relentless attack of the basket. So that's pretty much what I got from the Minnesota side of things. Right now, it's only game one. I would say, obviously, the slight edge goes to Minnesota. I think Wemby is going to play better in game two. I think De'Aaron Fox is going to play better in game two. I think Stephon Castle is going to play better in game two. And if they do that, I think they easily win game two on the road, at home, to split 1-1 going to Minnesota. But those are my thoughts on the 2 games from last night. Obviously, we got some games tonight. We got Cleveland and Detroit, and we also have Lakers and OKC. Personally, I've got Detroit winning that series 4-2, and I've also got OKC beating the Lakers 4-2. I don't think it's going to be a sweep. I don't think it's going to be a gentleman's sweep. I think the Lakers are going to get 2 up on OKC, and I think game 1 the Lakers are going to get. I think the Lakers are going to get it tonight. I think they're going to surprise everybody, and they're going to get them tonight. And I think on the Detroit and Cleveland side of things, I think Cleveland's going to take this game. That's just my opinion. I think they're going to take this game. But, let me know what you guys think. I appreciate you guys for watching. And once again, I hope you have a good day. All right, take it easy. Peace.